Here, he's got to go fight a fire.
Take care.
All right, so Chris is, hi Chris.
Alright, so my presentation is on swells moves. So the question of the day is, what would swells do? So we'll go through this. So basically, okay, so just basic introduction to what swells moves are. Well, swells moves in general, it was created by a man named John Swells. He was, well actually he's still alive, he's still working. And he created these as he was reading through technical documents or scientific papers. He found that a lot of them followed a very generic form. And so he put these together. There's actually over 35, but in general it's the first 4 that are most widely known and they're used for introductions. And he found that if you go through almost any paper, very predictably you can say this is going to happen, and lo and behold, when you go into it, it does. Let's go through the first 4. Move 1 is it's important. So you start out by when you're using, or when you're writing your paper, you just, in there you say this is important, and you come up with reasons why. You can say that this is important because it's been studied for a long time, or it's important because, you know, this will affect everybody's daily life. You find different reasons as to why it's important. You got to move 2. Other people think it's important. So in that one you can either refer to previous research that's been done on the topic, previous authors who have written about the topic, or just you know, any sort of other information that that demonstrates other people will find this interesting too. Third move is something is missing. So you go through and you can say, you know, on this topic this research has been done by this person and this other person, and they've researched X and Y fully, but nobody's looked into Z. So then what you do in move 4 is you go into Z and you fill in that gap of information that hasn't been filled yet. So I have a couple of examples here. So the methodology I used for getting these examples is I went into the tech library website and just looked up different scientific, literally I just picked a random thought. I picked car tires, Chinese tree, anything you can think of. You put in there and some document will come up on it. And I just put together a pool of about 10 different ones. And the only requirements that I had were that they were fully available online through PDF or through an online reader, and that they were from some sort of academic publishing. So I went and picked a pool of 10 and narrowed it down to 3. And although granted, looking through all of them fit this category, so it really didn't matter which ones were chosen. So this is probably quite hard to read, but basically what I did here is, as you see on the top left, I used I underlined each section with move 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can see that they're in color code there on the top left. You can see the first sentence in this one, for nearly a century, right there. Oh, this is important. If they've been, you know, extensive work has been devoted to this for 100 years. It's got to be something special. So that's the first move. The second one, if you go through, it's hard to, this one it's very, I kind of just went to town with the underline, because this entire section is basically saying, look at the work that's been done on this previously. We've got Townsend and McVeigh was working on it, Fox and Barles, and a lot of Fox, some names that I can't even pronounce, have been working on this thing for apparently a very long time. So it's a very important subject in the writer's opinion. Then you get to the third move. And as you can see here in blue, it says several important capabilities are not, capabilities not included in, and it goes on from there. So now you're bringing up a problem. This model has been put forth and it works, but it has some issues. And then the fourth one, which is at the bottom in green, this paper presents the development and performance of several interesting enhancements to the CS2 numerical model. So basically, there's the fourth move saying, and I'm here to fix that problem. Another quick example, you go through in the top here, the importance of tires for road safety. I mean, who wants to die in a car crash? Nobody. So tires are very important for that, and they're putting that forward and saying, there's something important. Then they say, you know, and I didn't quite go with as crazy with the underline in this one, but has been subjected to many studies, part of move 2, other people think it's important. You can go through, you can see there's different research things, and there's facts that are in there that show it's been researched previously. Then you go to the third move, and it's, however, these studies analyze the number of crashes inside urban areas before and after the reduction of studded tire fitment and not on overall effects. So they're saying, hey, this has been done, but there's a problem with it. They researched one part, but not this other one. And then later on in green at the bottom, this project was carried out, and they went on to describe the different information on it, but they brought forth the information that they thought was missing. Third example, another long one, but same thing. Soil respiration accounts for large parts, sensitive to climate stuff. So they're saying this is an important task. You know, everybody knows the environment is sensitive. It needs to, you can't just let it go and hope it survives. And then they go through and they have all the research that's been done on this topic previously. and then that's the second move. The third one, they say there's a problem in here that this one they have it spread out very far, but they say that some research has been done that says one thing, some research completely contradicts that. There's some right in the middle. It's all over the place. So they went through and at the bottom in the green, they did their own study in one specific field and said that, and to remove any doubts on how that was going between the other fields. Alright, so after that we have some reinforcement here, and this was graciously, a lot of this information was helped with from Dr. G, and it's everybody's favorite, the random essay generator. So does anybody have any topic they can think of off the top of their head?
Swales moves.
It's the fractal group over here.
Let's see. In order to understand ourselves, we must first understand swells moves. So there you go. Apparently our life is an essay that we are trying to write to somebody according to them. But basically, if you go through this website, you can pick any topic. For entertainment earlier, I picked something about monkeys swinging from hobbits. And you go through, I just picked something random. And they have a very informative essay that gives you absolutely no information whatsoever, however, on monkeys swinging from hobbits. And what they do is, if you go through, you can see in here that they actually do this and make the essay seem logical by presenting it with these moves in mind. So you go through in the beginning, in order to understand ourselves, well, I mean, it's pretty important to understand yourself, so therefore they're appealing to their audience right there. Then you go through and say other people it's important. As you go, it's not always, with this one they kind of move it around, but you can say, I will leave you with the words of Hollywood's Keanu a star. I would say that without a shadow of doubt, Swales moves rocks. So apparently he thinks it's important because it rocks. As you go through any of these essays, and they've got multiple different ones, you'll find that in pretty much all of them, actually in all of them that I've seen, they put it in there to help make it more, well, mind break. It helps them make them more, they follow the pattern, and that helps it make it more presentable and relatable by the audience. So basically I want to thank Dr. Griffin and the TC202 class for some of the ideas and some of the background on this. And this is the reference list. These are all pulled, and I checked them, they're still current as of today, off of the New Mexico Tech website. You can go through, put these in, and it will bring up the full documents that I referenced in the beginning. So any questions? Yes.
Just as you were researching this, I was wondering, did you come across any sort of document like that that didn't use Swales moves, or proposed an alternative, or is it all Swales moves all the time?
Oh, sounds like a terrible radio station. All Swales moves all the time. Pretty much there are a couple of documents that they don't necessarily not have it. They just either put it in a different, they separate, like on the random essay generator where they'll throw it at the end instead of having it all together in the beginning in order. But in general, any of the scientific documents that I went through and found on the websites, they all, I mean, depending on, the spread changed, but in there they would have all of them. So pretty much, and the thing is that it's not something that should be followed. It's something that's more of, it just happens through writing. As you go through your writing, and I believe it's considered a lit review was what we called it. It's kind of a type of lit review that you can go through, and it's really just a pattern. And if you go through, what he did is he came up with, I think it was 36 or 38 different moves that, and it would fill an entire document. So if you went through the entire document, you could almost guaranteed find something to fit into each one. But basically the four main ones are just for introductions, but almost any document does have them to some extent. Other questions?
Just to follow up on what you said, and Chris, is that what Swales was is that he came up with what he called a descriptive methodology for looking at documents, but not prescriptive. So he described what happens, but didn't prescribe what happens. And so you'll find that some papers don't follow any of these moves or steps, but a lot of people will point out that the documents that don't seem to follow any kind of coherent pattern aren't extremely well written. The information is hard to parse.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. That's good then.
Thank you, Chris.